After 27 years, Lois can finally understand Stewie.
You can talk?
You can understand me?
In this video, I'll be breaking down the season 24 premiere of Family Guy while also diving into the ever-changing rules of who can and who cannot understand this baby.
Hey Dad, that's a cool whip. Ah, I thought you couldn't understand me!
Let's get into it. The episode opens with Mayor Wild West opening up the town's first weed dispensary. So Brian treats himself to some gummies, which Peter quickly locks away in a cupboard. But just before this, Lois is unpacking her groceries until Bonnie pops by purely to throw in a bitchy jab.
If you need to borrow reusable bags, I have a bunch.
Stewie then reaches over for the Oreos until Lois stops him, saying that he's too young, so he decides to sneak downstairs that night to steal some cookies, which is where he discovers Brian's gummies instead.
I can feel my heartbeat in my eyes.
So a super high Stewie starts having some very wild and surreal dreams, and I really love the art style here. And while I can't play it for copyright reasons, the song sounds heavily inspired by Pink Floyd's Brain Damage, and the visuals feel like they're definitely riffing on the band's 1982 film The Wall. I always love when the show goes all out on these surreal fever dream sequences, like in season 20's Prescription Heroin or Brian's trip in season 10's Seahorse Seashell Party. And for a show that gets a lot of flack for its simple animation style, Family Guy can definitely deliver some genuinely unhinged imagery when it really wants to. Anyway, the next day at nursery, Stewie is still high as a kite, and when he invites some of the other kids onto the roof, his teacher calls the police, and as a result, Joe has a court order to remove Stewie from Lois.
Oh, I gotta keep Stewie entertained, so I'm gonna need your iPad.
What? No!
And until she can complete a parenting course, Stewie will be staying at the Swansons. This is when Meg offers to give Lois another baby. She just needs some notice first.
You gotta tell me within 5 months. 5.5 max.
I think the joke here is that Meg is pregnant, but she needs to know if Lois wants the baby before she can terminate the pregnancy, which, fun fact, would make this the third time that Meg's been pregnant. She had Bruce's surrogate baby in season 22, and who could forget her locker baby in season 10.
Mama!
What are you doing out of your box?
Well, 4 I guess if you believe that Lois wasn't actually joking in that season 8 episode.
Oh, come on, Meg. It was hot enough on your body when you gave birth to Stewie.
What?
I'm just joking.
Actually, now I think about it, that number's probably even higher. There have definitely been a few more abortion jokes involving her.
Now, what is your abortion stance?
It's pretty much this.
And come on, for someone who apparently is so hideous that her naked body literally melts people's faces off, Meg sure finds enough guys to get her pregnant. Anyway, hey ho, I'm getting a bit off course here. So, Lois completes her parenting class and is reunited with Stewie. And despite promising to be more vigilant, Stewie once again gets into Brian's gummy stash. And seeing Lois's freak out, Stewie takes a page from Bill Cosby's playbook and slips a couple of the edibles into her wine. Lois drinks it, gets super high, and can suddenly understand her baby. And Stewie's been waiting a very long time to say this to his mother.
Please stop buying the cheap baby wipes. They tear me up.
And Lois fires back by insulting Dora the Explorer. But here's the thing, this isn't actually the first time that Lois has understood Stewie. So before I continue breaking down this episode, let's take a look back at the ever-changing rules of who can actually understand him. So early on, the joke was that Stewie spoke eloquently with an advanced vocabulary, but no one outside of Brian could understand him. Well, kinda. Because even in the earlier seasons, the writers always played fast and loose with this rule. Like, in just the 3rd episode, it appears that Chris could also understand him.
Plans? The devil are you talking about?
It's your birthday, dude!
And later on, it's made very clear that Chris can understand Stewie perfectly.
I'm proud of you.
Thanks, Stewie.
As for Peter though, it is very inconsistent, because in the 4th episode of season 2, he clearly understood him.
Wonderful, and while we're at it, we can light up a doobie and watch porn.
Yeah?
And he understood him in season 4's The Courtship of Stewie's father.
You think he's dead?
Nah, he'll be back on his feet in no time.
But the rule with Peter is that he doesn't fully understand Stewie, only bits and pieces, as evidenced in season 17's Dead Dog Walking.
Meg, you said you wouldn't tell Stewie's secret.
Stewie, you told Dad?
I had to get it off my chest. I didn't think he'd understand me.
I understand pieces now and then.
The Family Guy writers definitely play fast and loose with the rules. They've never been too strict with it.
Isn't she one of those people outside the family who can understand me?
No, I think because of Cleveland, she's close enough to the main cast that it might be a little weird.
Really?
Well, I get the gist of what you're saying, Stewie.
Like sometimes Cleveland and Joe can understand Stewie, but most of the time they can't. Out of all the family though, Meg has had the least interactions with Stewie. I think she mostly just hears baby babble when Stewie talks. Even still though, there have been a few rare occasions where she has understood him.
What the hell are you doing?
Watching you sleep, cutie pie.
Why, you sick, sick little moo cow.
As for Lois though, while this episode frames it as though it's the first time she specifically understands him, that's not exactly the case because there have been a handful of other times too. The first being in season 1's Mind Over Murder.
Mommy will be upstairs to kiss you goodnight.
Burn in hell!
Hell. Hell has fire.
And then there's this moment in season 4's Untitled Griffin Family History.
Well, how can you say you don't like it if you haven't even given it a chance?
I agree with Stewie, it's not really fair.
And probably the most famous example comes in season 5's Stewie Loves Lois.
Mama! Mama! Mama!
What?
Hi.
But you know what, I decided to dig a bit deeper and found this interview with Seth MacFarlane from 2003 where he spoke about this topic specifically, saying, "The single most asked question about the show. They can hear him and understand him. It's just that he's a baby and for that reason they just don't take what he says with any seriousness." Basically, the writers make characters understand Stewie whenever it serves the joke or the story. So with that out of the way, let's get on with the episode. So in her weed-induced state, Lois can finally understand her baby. Their conversations get deep fast.
I mean, yes, look at Peter. He treats you like garbage and does zero to help out.
He's gonna be dead in a couple of years anyway.
They then talk about Chris not being all there, to which Lois explains that it's because she fell down an escalator. And then they get into how Brian is so in love with her.
And he'll be dead in a couple of years.
After feasting on some munchies, they then go out to watch The Big Lebowski and bond over how much of a bitch Bonnie is. They then go to IHOP where things get even deeper. Lois confesses that she sometimes thinks that she loves Stewie more than he loves her. Stewie explains that there was a time where he wants to kill her, not because he hated her though, but because she lets people treat her like a doormat, and as a result, he wants to put her out of her misery. And that weakness he sees in her, he believes is inside of him too, and he wanted to destroy the part of himself that scares him most. I really love their deep conversations because they're also playful too, like when Lois pranks Stewie when he steps on a crack.
Where has this Lois been?
Yeah, I should let her come out more.
And for a bonding exercise, they get some payback on Bonnie by dropping a log on her lawn. Back home, they continue their munchie fest and their conversation circles back to the whole Oreo incident, where Stewie explains that it's not really about the cookies, but rather about the feeling like he has no control over his life. And Lois admits that she feels the exact same way. And after sharing a tender moment, they fall asleep together. The next morning, the high has worn off and neither of them remember a thing, so all of that invaluable mother and son bonding is gone. Lois has no memory of the Oreos or the scratchy wet wipes that he hates.
Or out of your Toms of Maine rough and dry baby wipes.
I'm gonna kill her.
I quite enjoyed this episode. I felt that the first quarter was pretty weak with not many standout jokes, and Stewie living with the Swansons should have been way funnier. But as soon as Stewie and Lois got high together, that's where it really picked up. And I also liked that we get an interesting reason for why Stewie resented Lois, and it genuinely feels like they're seeing each other clearly for the first time. Saying that though, it wasn't a particularly hilarious episode, but I don't think it's trying to be. This feels more like a character study between two characters who rarely get any meaningful one-on-one time. And because of that, it feels unique and stands apart from a typical episode. So therefore, I give it a solid 4 out of 5 stars. But what did you think of this episode? Let me know in the comments below. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.